2007 Chevy Suburban, doing the hub assembly because it's pretty loose. I don't know if you can see it with the camera jiggling, but it's pretty loose. So I got 6 22mm lug nuts off, and then we'll work on getting the caliper off right here next. Get the key turned on to accessories so we can turn the wheel back and forth. We got an 18mm socket right here for the caliper mounting right here. Take a screwdriver maybe in here and pry a little bit to get yourself a little free play. Stick a screwdriver in here like this and just pry over a little, just a little bit, and it'll make the caliper come off easier. So lefty loosey, ready tighty for 2 bolts in here and right here. And then probably 15mm bolts for the hub assembly right here, probably 3 of them. And this nut right here, I'm going to use 1 7/16. It's a little bit loose, so probably find a better fitting socket. And if your wheel still has it on the rotor, the brake rotor, got a T30 Torx bit to take this out. You can probably use a long bar or something and put it in here to hold it against these studs while you're turning and breaking this loose. And take this loose. You'll see there's some Loctite on here too. We usually use blue Loctite when we're putting stuff back together, but there's Loctite. So these bolts for the brake caliper assembly will come out kind of tough, just so you know. You can pull the rotor off, maybe tap gently on it on the back side to get it to loosen up, spin it a little bit. You can just pull this off. It is just floating on there, just like so. We'll pull that off. This has analog brakes, and it does have the wiring right here, and we can just pull this right out of the bracketry areas here, because we do get all the nice new brackets for the new one. We can push this tab right up here and set this free. That's the theory anyway. We do have a 35mm socket on here. Feels like the right size. Nice and snug, so we'll take that nut off. And the washer. And just taking out these bolts. They are 15mm bolts. I've got my setup here, but you can use, certainly there's enough open area. You can use an open end wrench, 15mm, or a socket, 3/2 inch or 3/8 probably. 15mm bolts here. We'll take them 3 out, and we can probably tap on this gently here with a hammer around here and get it to slide out of its hole. Slides right off. Maybe use some spray lubricant in here if you need to, if it's not sliding off easily for you. And yeah, and if you're gonna tap, if you tap on this because it's not going through, then put the nut on here and tap on it before you start beating on it, so you don't damage the threads on here. So we can clean up this area a little bit in here with a rag and maybe some brake clean. And if you have anti-seize lubricant, you can probably put some in here. Otherwise, that's really it. Put the new part in place of the old part, and reverse procedure to install. Got our bolts in now, and we can lay out our wire harness and snap things back into place like they're supposed to be. And there. Plug this in. The bolts are about 133 foot-pounds here. These big bolts, I believe, about 130 foot-pounds. This nut is 177 foot-pounds. And tighten this up. Once the caliper's on, you can stick a screwdriver in one of those holes and into the vanes of the rotor, or you can have an assistant hold the brakes, and you can tighten that down. So this makes it a one-man job. See the vanes in the rotor. We'll get our socket on here and our torque wrench. That's 177 foot-pounds, and we'll torque away. Just like that. So tight. caliper brackets are tight, those bolts are tight, everything is tight, plugged in. Wheel lug nut I'm not sure about, make sure it's tight, probably over 140 foot-pounds, 140 or more. Always tighten your bolts in a crisscross pattern as well. Good luck on your 2006 Chevy Suburban or similar for wheel bearing assembly replacement, hub assembly replacement.